Sydney, Reuters, nearly 2 million Australians rushed to download an app designed to help medical workers and state governments trace close contacts of COVID-19 patients, as Prime Minister Scott Morrison's approval rating soared on his pandemic response.
Australia has been one of the most successful countries in fighting the coronavirus pandemic, recording just 83 deaths and 6,700 cases, because of border closures, movement restrictions and a stay-at-home policy. It has lowered the daily infection growth rate to less than 1%, down from the 25% seen in March.
Some Australian states have begun easing social distancing restrictions, and Australia will soon begin testing people regardless of symptoms, firstly focusing on young adults and health workers.
Health Minister Greg Hunt said 1.89 million Australians have downloaded the tracing app COVID Safe as of 1600 GMT on Monday, more than 7% of the country's population. The near 2 million downloads came within 16 hours of the app's launch.
This effort will help protect ourselves, our families, our nurses and our doctors, Hunt tweeted.
Morrison has said at least 40% of the country's 25.7 million population will need to download the app.
The surge in downloads comes as a news poll conducted for the Australian newspaper showed Morrison enjoyed the best approval rating for a leader since the end of 2008.
Morrison's approval rating has skyrocketed 27 points since the first week of March to 68%, the poll showed.
The result was boosted as Morrison jettisoned much of his Conservative government's ideology to pledge spending worth more than 10% of GDP, including a 130 billion Australian dollars $83.82 billion subsidy to employers to keep staff they might otherwise have let go.
Westpac chief economist Bill Evans estimates that without the subsidy unemployment would have soared to 17% by the end of June, but would now only reach 9%.
Business groups in the country have begun lobbying for easing pandemic-related restrictions.
A modelling by the Business Council of Australia on Monday showed the $2 trillion Australian dollars economy could take a $400 billion Australian dollars hit if restrictions adopted to fight the spread of COVID-19 continued for 6 months.
Last week, the head of Australia's central bank said the country would suffer its biggest economic contraction since the 1930s in the first half of this year due to the containment measures.
He estimated national output would fall by around 10% in the first half of 2020, with unemployment almost doubling to around 10% by June.
Despite the economic pain, Australia reported just 5 new cases of coronavirus across the country in the last 24 hours. Australia's most populous state, New South Wales, said it had found just 2 cases in that time, and neither involved community transmission.
The states of Queensland and Western Australia have said they would ease some restrictions this week, as both have had new cases in the low single digits in recent days.
Western Australia will allow indoor and outdoor gatherings of up to 10 people, while Queensland has allowed picnics, retail shopping and drives of up to 50 km 31 miles from home. Queensland has also opened its national parks.
The most populous states of Victoria and New South Wales, which have the country's coronavirus hotspots, are maintaining strict social and business restrictions.
$1 equals 1.5509 Australian dollars.